Hi, welcome to Healthy Cooking, and today we're going to talk about the aging body and the nutritional needs for an aging body and what you can do to slow down the body aging a little bit. So we're going to start off with a very easy dish, just raw vegetables and hummus. And it's a very simple dish to make, is hummus, but very effective because it's got lots and lots of fiber in there. So easy to make. I just need a handful of ingredients. You can make it at home as long as you've got vegetables. It's kind of a nice snack, a nice meal to have at any time. So developing a good eating habits. So it's very important that at a young age you develop really good eating habits, because that's going to see you as you get older. You develop poor eating habits, you're not physically active, then you're going to be heading into, well, your chances are better, you're going to be heading into things like arthritis, joint pain, cardiovascular issues. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the body. What happens to the body? First of all, when you're 40, but we usually say around 50, but let's say 40 to 50, your metabolism slows down. Your metabolism is what burns the energy, burns the fat, keeps you in great shape. So in your 20s, you probably feel great, you look great, you feel your best. You're in the prime of your life. As you age and that metabolism slows down, if you don't adjust your diet, if you don't adjust your lifestyle, then basically what happens is you start to lose a little bit of muscle mass. And as you lose that muscle mass, then you'll also put on a little bit of fat. So you lose muscle mass and you gain fat as you age. This is just a natural process of the body. You can slow that down. You can slow that down by eating really well. You can slow it down by being physically active, maybe doing some very light weights, but just staying physically active, even going for a walk. So if you remember that, if right now when you're young, you have good eating habits, you've developed those good eating habits, you're physically active, you try if you can to keep that going throughout your lifespan, and you're probably going to live longer and you're going to live healthier. So the next part is the food. The food, you want to eat nutritionally dense food, food that's going to matter to your body, as opposed to eating empty calories. Empty calories are things that give you lots of calories but doesn't really give your body anything to work on. You know, fast foods, chips, anything from the convenience part of the supermarket is probably not the best food to eat. So nutritionally dense food is important. So every meal should have some value to it as opposed to just empty calories. The next thing that happens as you get older, your taste buds kind of diminish. Your saliva production diminishes. Now your saliva helps you with the digestion of food. So when you eat food, when you see a nice dish and your mouth starts to water, that slows down as you get older. Your taste buds become a little bit dull. So you're going to need more seasoning, you're going to need more salt usually as you get older, and that also adds to the problem. So by using some of the techniques I've shown you, by using lemon juice and different flavorings to bring out the flavor of food, you can still keep those taste buds alive. You can't really do too much with the saliva, but you know that that's going to be an issue going down the road and as you get older. So very important that you eat well, exercise, and you do that for as long as your body will allow you to do it, so that you stay good and healthy. So all in all, your body is going to be less efficient the more you age, and let's say that could happen anywhere for most people between 40 and 50. You're going to, chances are the older you get, you may develop things like arthritis, you may get diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancer. All these things can be avoided by the food you eat and how active you are. You can, or at least delay them till much later in life. So remember, that's very important. And then the last thing is constipation. because everything moves slower through the body the older you get. It's very important to drink lots of water when you get older, even when you're young. You know, we always say eight glasses a day. Very important to drink lots of water and keep everything moving through the body. And something like this, hummus, which is a legume, has got lots of fiber. Vegetables have got lots of fiber. It's going to keep everything moving through the body. So very important that you eat nutrition dense food, but also get fiber in your diet. Very important to get fiber in your diet. Things are going to move a lot slower the more you age. And if you look at fiber, you're going to get fiber from things like fruits. We know fruits have them. We know vegetable has lots of fiber. We know legumes. Any beans that you get have fiber, and other things, B vitamins, folate, things like that your body needs, and whole grains. And whole grains is something that hasn't been processed too much. So the more you eat fiber, nutrition dense food, the better off you'll be as you get older. So let's look at this. It's a very easy dish. It's hummus. So hummus, we're going to start off with chickpeas, or some people call them garbanzo beans. It's really a legume. If you talk about legumes, you're talking about beans, some peas like black-eyed peas, things like that. They go by different names, but you'll find them, they're dried, or you can buy them in cans. So you've got to be careful in cans because sometimes they add salt to the water, and salt has sodium. And remember, the three big killers are sodium, or salt, sugar and fat. Those are the things that as you get older you want to reduce, and even when you're younger you want to minimize them. Just have enough so you keep your body healthy. So chickpeas, all we do is buy them dried. The bigger the bean, the more you have to soak them. So sometimes what we do is take dried chickpeas, we'll put them in cold water, and we'll put them in the refrigerator overnight. They'll swell up a little bit, but they're easier to cook. Then they'll cook, take about an hour and a half to get a little bit tender. You'll see they've just got a little squishiness to them, and that's good for hummus. So you just want to cook them. Don't put any salt in the water. Salt kind of toughens the bean a little bit, toughens the fiber, so you can't make a nice smooth hummus. You may not want a smooth hummus. It's actually quite nice sometimes to have a chunky hummus, but let's just say we're just going to use a hand blender, so it's going to be a little bit chunky anyway. So you don't want to put any salt in the water. You may put a few herbs, spices in the water, but you never put salt in the water when you're cooking a legume. You just cook it in water, bring it to a boil, bring it to a boil for the first 10 minutes to kind of kill any toxins that may be in the legume, and then you'll lower the temperature and just simmer the bean until it's tender. And beans have different cooking times. Cranberry beans take less time than navy beans, and so all these different beans that you get, they all have good value. Some have more value than others. We talked about lentils in a previous show that are fantastic and great. We've talked about things that what properties they have. So that's why I really like legumes. We don't get enough legumes in our diet. So what I'm going to do is take the chickpeas. I've cooked them and now they've cooled down. I've just let them cool down in the water. We're just going to pop those into a bowl. So if I take my bowl, we're just going to pop these beans right into a bowl. And really what we're going to do is just puree the chickpeas and season the chickpeas. So you can see they've popped out the shells a little bit. That's fine. Doesn't matter if they pop out the shells as long as the beans are tender. So we've got our garbanzo beans, or chickpeas as we call them. Now to this we want to season it. So we're going to take some green onions. Now green onions, we only like to use the white and the first third of the green onion for flavoring. So if you like lots of onion, put lots in by all means. If you don't, put next to none in. But I like a little bit of green onion in. Garlic. Garlic is really a must for hummus. We're going to take the garlic and just with the tip of the knife, we're going to turn it into a paste. Even though we're going to puree it, I like it to be smooth, because if you miss it with the blender, then you get a big chunk of raw garlic. So it's actually good just to go through it and take a nice heavy knife and just make it into a paste with the tip of the knife. You use a tip and you can actually puree it pretty easy, and that then in your hummus you won't get any big chunks of garlic. Blend right in with the chickpeas. So once we've got that done, we'll just pop that right in. That's our garlic in there. And then same thing with lemon juice. Give it a little roll. You want to get the maximum amount of lemon juice out of it, so we just give it a roll. Some people put it in a little bit of warm water. Don't get any seeds in there, but I love lemon juice in hummus. So we're going to put the juice of a whole lemon in this particular one. You can adjust that as you see fit, but I do like lemon juice in hummus. So we'll get all that juice in. Right there. And the next ones is really the seasonings. This is what's going to allow you to cut down on the sodium or the salt at the end. A little bit of pepper and salt isn't the worst thing in this at the end, but if you want to cut down, you could add just a little bit of cumin in there. I like to add a little bit of sesame seed oil, or you can add a little bit of what's called tahini paste. Tahini paste is just a sesame seed paste. If you want, you can add sesame seed oil if you like sesame seeds. Sesame seed oil, not too much. If you want, at the end you can use olive oil or a little bit of plain yogurt, plain low-fat yogurt. I'm going to use the plain low-fat yogurt. I'm going to leave the olive oil this time, even though I do like olive oil. We're just going to take our hand blender and just slowly, you can make this into a paste. And once you make it into a paste, you can make it as chunky, or you can make it as smooth as you want. If you want it nice and smooth, you just go with it a little bit longer. And you'll see that eventually that lemon juice will blend in, and you'll end up with this beautiful hummus. And then at the end, once we've got the hummus there, and everything's blended in, then you can actually stir in the last of the ingredients, adjust the consistency. So when you're going to make something like hummus, and you're going to use it as a dipping sauce, you can use a little bit of fresh ground pepper in there. I'm going to use a little bit of plain yogurt instead of olive oil this time. And if I use a little bit of plain yogurt, stir that in, we can get the texture that we want for our hummus. So you can see that this is a nice chunky texture to go with vegetables. So we're going to take this hummus, pop it right on top. And this now is perfect for vegetables. So if you're looking for a little light snack, or even if you want to make a lunch out of it, you've got this. And the way you make a lunch out of it is you can use things like a little bit of naan bread. These are little mini naan bread, so you've got some bread for dipping. I've just got on here some nice fresh cucumber from the garden. We've got some broccoli, celery, red peppers, mushrooms if you like mushrooms, carrots, fresh tomatoes, little heirloom tomatoes, green peppers. Whatever you want, you can make a meal out of that. And that's basically it. A simple dish, but very healthy, very good if you want to get that fiber in your diet. You've got lots of fiber with the vegetables, you've got lots of fiber with the hummus. Going to keep everything moving to avoid that constipation. Remember, as you age, to make sure that you get a very, very nutrition dense diet. Make sure that most of the meals that you consume count, and you can live a long and healthy life. We'll see you next week on Healthy Cooking.